Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video with Blazing Corp. We are wondering here if we should go for HURNDIG, or if you don't have the ability to go for HURNDIG, does getting the epic champions make sense? We're going to find out next. Right, so we are here, and we already looked at HURNDIG in our last video for day 1. Day 2, we're going to kind of look at these other champions. So, Freeze the Tusk. No, Freeze the Tusk. There. So this guy is a cool looking champion. Look at this guy. Yeah, he's a cool looking champion here. So just on style points, you know, definitely an A++ here. Now, how does his abilities, well, just look at his HP is pretty low, defense is low. Oh, this is a 50. Okay, so let's look. Let's see if we can look at that. It doesn't matter here. So the main thing here, let's start with his A1. So Burly Bash attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 10% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn based on HP. Here, it books up to a 30% chance, and he gets an extra 10% damage. Not too bad. Alright, so places a 50% War Whoop. Place a 50% increased attack buff plus 30% increased crit rate buff on all allies for 2 turns. That's on a 3-turn cooldown. That's not too bad there either. So you can literally build all your champions. And he's Skinwalker, so it's super huge. There you can build all your champions at 70% crit rate. Last but not least, he revives 2 random allies with 50% HP and fills their turn meters by 50%. That's huge. After the revival, place a 25% strength and buff on all allies for 2 turns, and that's on a 5-turn cooldown. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Reason that's ridiculous, well, first thing, we're getting Reviver for Skinwalker, so that's fantastic. If at the least he's going to be able to help you do Faction Wars. We do have the ability to get 2 of him during this event, so it's, you know, very, very high on my list at least to get the second one of this guy here, just to, you know, put him into the Faction Wars. You know, will I use him in other places? Probably. Here, I can't think of where right now, but this strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns is massive, because that just takes whatever damage is coming in and takes 25% off of it, which is huge. There, if you have other damage mitigation tools like shields, there, you could also have stalwart gear on. That's another 25%. Some other characters have a 25% reduction in their kits and their passives. So there's some, like, lots of damage mitigation that can go on there. I think this guy would be a prime candidate for a reflex set, just so you can bring this around quicker here. Yeah, not a bad kit whatsoever. And then ally resist in all battles by 40. That's not bad either. Always good when you have something in all battles. Now, we can look at his level 6 star stats after. Who else do we have here? So Scathix, this is the only other guy who's going to have the ability to... He's a cool looking kid too. Looks like he's going to hit you with a fish. You know, just take out the fish and smack you right in the face with it. Cool looking cat though. I mean, I guess a cool looking lizard, not a cat. Here. Yeah, don't mind him at all. Now, let's see... Here, attacks one enemy, 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Not bad having a, you know, a speed decrease on an A1. Too bad that's not like a 2-hitter. It would make this chance a little bit better. It's 50% chance when booked, so not terrible, but it would be nice if that was a 2-hitter. Alright, so attacks all enemies has a 100% chance of stealing one random buff from each enemy. That's kind of cool on a 3-turn cooldown. Alright, so this is the one that we've come for. So removes all debuffs from all allies, so that's good. Always great to have a cleanser. Then place a block debuffs and a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns. The shield buff is equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. That is fantastic here. So that alone will probably help me progress in Lizardman quite substantially on that end. Shield buff is always fantastic on a 4-turn cooldown. Yeah, this will be nice. Last gasp, every 6 turns he's going to do this. So place a block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn when their HP drops below 30. So he basically has what Sandlash Survivor has, where she puts it on someone else. She does ally protect when they drop below a certain percentage. She takes all the damage, or most of it, and she puts a block damage on herself. Instead, this guy's selfish, puts it on himself here when he drops below 30. So he's going to have a decent amount of sustainability here. So he basically can't be nuked. Yeah, he basically can't be killed in 1 turn. So that's pretty cool there. Now let's see ally resist in all battles by 40. It looks like, ooh, I wonder if all these guys have ally resist in all battles by 40. That'd be interesting. Here. Now, what I think, yeah, I think I'll get both of these guys. I think I'll double dip, make sure I get both of these guys, and I'll still fuse them with these other champions here as well. All right, so Gorey. Alright, so Shadowkin attacks one enemy 2 times, place an extra hit if the target is under a freeze debuff. So he could attack 4 times if he's running in like a freeze team. Heals his champion by 10% of the damage inflicted. So that's kind of cool. A little selfish, but kind of cool. Obviously, you know, that's going to have a huge extra bit of damage there. Frost Jutsu. Ooh, it's like a Naruto type thing. Okay, attacks 3 times at random. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. So that's going to be 100% down to a 3-turn. Attacks 3 times at random. I don't like the random part of it, but this might be 100% chance of freeze is huge. Yeah, 100% chance of freeze is huge. Definitely would be, I can see this being good for, you know, kind of an early to mid game type of person. So if you're early to mid game, you're watching this video while we are doing this event, definitely go for Gorey here. That's not a bad champion to have. That ability to immobilize some people here and then still hit them. Better than having a sleep, that's for sure. Now attacks one enemy, so Frostbreaker attacks one enemy, will ignore increased defense, which is great. Shield buffs, which is really good, will also ignore 50% of the target's defense if they are under a freeze debuff. So this ability becomes massive here, because that's going to lead in, so long as the character is smart, but we have AI fixing, so you just get him to do his Frost Jutsu into his Frost Breaker, and that's a 50% ignoring of defense. Could actually get that up to 100 if you put Savage Gear on him and you get Helm Smasher there, and then you'll have the chance to ignore 100% defense and just shields everything and just smash here. So place a counterattack buff and a 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. Which it pretty much is if you build him in Savage with, you know, that's at least 75% of the target's defense when they're under a Frost debuff, which you're going to get 100% of the time if you put good accuracy on him here with this skill and you have him buffed out. This guy's a nuker if I've ever seen one. Now, kind of sucks that he has to do 2 moves to get this off, but yeah, I could see him being pretty good in PvE for sure. Let's see. Let's get a book down to a 3-turn cooldown. Is this a 3-turn as well? Yeah, they're both 3-turn cooldown. So yeah, you definitely want to AI fix this gentleman to make sure he does his A2 first, then his A3 there every time. So counterattacks with Cold Comfort. So Cold Comfort. Which one's Cold Comfort? Oh, this one here. Okay. So that's an attack 2 times, extra hit if target's under freeze. Okay, and heal. So counterattacks with Cold Comfort skill whenever an enemy places a stun, sleep, freeze, provoke, fear, or tree fear debuff on an ally. Oh, interesting. That's really interesting. Huh. Okay, so that's really cool. Yeah, you kind of can't go wrong with this particular skill. So he's going to be doing like something like what Inquisitor Shamel does there with Fear and True Fear, just constantly counterattacking you. Except any kind of control debuff, he's going to smack you with Cold Comfort 2 times. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And then he's going to be healing himself. So that is a really good skill. You know, he's definitely has a place. Here in like an early, I would even say early to mid game, probably not super useful for end game. You could pair him up at least with his Frost Jutsu skill with an HP burn champion, and then have Tormund come in every time the HP burn goes off while under freeze and just smack some people there. So that could be a nice little skill kind of setup for Tormund, who can hit really hard. But pretty nice kind of kit for Gorey here. Let's see, last but not least, Siege Hulk. Ooh, this guy's massive. Look at this guy. He's got chains all over. Chainmail on, lots of heavy artillery. He's got heavy artillery up there that you can't see. I guess you could see it a little bit. Oh, there you go. Oh man, that's a double flaming arrow. Oh geez. Oh, he's got to mess some people up. Wow. All right. I see you. I bet this guy, if he took this headdress off, will just look like the Hulk. All right, let's see what his kit. Battering Ram. Attacks one enemy, decrease the target's turn meter by 15% if the target is under a decreased defense debuff or decreased speed debuff. Cool. Which, yeah, if you build your team pretty good, it's always going to be under a decreased defense debuff. Yeah, that's interesting. Place a 50% increase attack buff on this champion for 2 turns, then attacks all enemies. Okay. Has a 75, booked up to 100% chance of placing a 60% decrease debuff for 2 turns. And that's on a 3-turn cooldown. That's not bad. I don't mind that actually. So he gets increased attack. Oh, only on him. Okay, so only on him. If you did that on everybody, that'd be insane. Places a 30% increased crit rate buff and increased crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns and attacks one enemy. 100% chance when booked of placing 30% decreased speed debuff on target for 2 turns. Okay, so basically his A3 and his A2 are kind of working to make sure that he can decrease turn meter there. So you're going to want to build him with a decent amount of attack. He's going to have low defense even at 60. Here, so a decent amount of attack, actually probably just a hell of a lot of attack. They're high crit rate, high crit damage, and then a ton of excess accuracy here. I can kind of see why they put these 4 champions here and built them into HURNDIG, because he's kind of got very similar kit to all of these champions, you know, parts of them here. So kind of neat here now. You know, if you are early, if you can't get HURNDIG, get HURNDIG, because he hits like a truck here from what I have heard. Yeah, hits like a truck there. So definitely worth it to get HURNDIG. But if you can't get HURNDIG, you know, I'd say definitely, you know, get these champions. They'll help you progress here within the game. on that side of things. It has been fantastic talking to you. Let me know in the comments below if you are going to get HURNDIG or if you're going to go for one of these champions here, these epic champions. I know when I started the game, I went for these champions to build my account, so that way I could get the legendaries during every single one of these events here, because that will progress your account without having to be a high spender, and also without having to do, you know, tons of shard pulls for these champions down the line here. So it has been fantastic talking to you. Stay safe, guys, and we'll chat again next time. Let's chat then.